Okay, and then I'll share my screen. Okay, so let me just wait for this to, okay, so that's perfect. Just close that, Eve. Okay, so yeah, so if you remember from yesterday, we basically did the first question of the mock test, right? And I didn't get to do the main class, so I'm actually going to leave that, and then I doubt we'll be able to finish the paper today. So when I complete the solution, then I'll upload the complete solution to Eve, right? So I'll upload the completed question 1, question 2, and question 3. Yeah, do you guys understand? Okay, so let's go to question 2. Okay, so this is the JavaFX and the visitor design pattern. Oh yeah, that's question 3 actually. Sorry. Okay, this. I also have an announcement. So there won't be any visitor design pattern in the practical test. So we decided to not include it because of the short timeline. So the scope is everything up until generics and binary file handling, right? So no visitor design pattern. You don't have to worry about that for the practical test. You probably will have to use it in your practical X, right? So just keep an eye on Eve also for the practical X design. And then as soon as it's on Eve, please start working on it. It's due on the 26th of April, right? So that's important. Okay, so let's get to the question. Okay, so the blue jellyfish needs a Java program to automate the processing of watercraft information from its shipyard. So there are 2 different types of watercraft. There's a cruise ship and there's a cargo ship. So the BJF has already implemented the watercraft class and its children in the provided jar file, right? So there's a jar file that we need to use in order to solve this problem, which contains the watercraft class as well as the cruise ship class and the cargo ship class, right? And watercraft is stored in text files with the following formats. So there's also a text file. So there's a cruise ship format. There's also a cargo ship format. And this just explains the data format. So the name, for example, 6 characters long, a unique license plate, and the style of the watercraft is 8 characters long, and the total number of patrons for the cruise ship, which is an integer, right? And then there's also a description of all the attributes of a cargo ship. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to create a craft file handler class with a static read watercraft method, right? So we just need to create one class with one method. And the read watercraft method must accept the file handle as a parameter and return an array list of watercraft read from the file. Okay, so there's some polymorphism going on. The read watercraft method must read each line of the file and determine if it's cruise ship or cargo ship, right? Using regular expressions. And based on the regular expression, we must instantiate the correct class and add it to the array list of watercraft. Okay, so we need to use this package, and we need to make sure that the file is open and closed correctly. and handle any exceptions. Okay, so let's just start with that. Okay, so let's open Eclipse. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay, so let me just close this project. Okay, so let's create a new project. And let's call this, so in this case, initials, computer science 2A, 2022. This is the practical test, question 2. Okay, so let's get the provided files. So that should be here, provided files, question 2. So I'll just copy all of these folders and paste them into my project. So go to the workspace. This is question 2, so it should be that. And then I'll just paste them here. Okay, so that should be fine. So let's just check. So we do have a batch file, we have the text files, and we have the jar file. Okay. So the first thing that I'll do is I will import the jar file. So I go to my build path, add external archives, and go to the folder, then add the jar file. Okay, so if we look at the jar file, so we'll see that we have all the classes provided to us, and when we basically expand each class, we'll see the attributes that are private to the class, and we'll see all the functions that we need to know about. So there's a constructor, there's a accessors, there's a mutator, and that should be the same for all of the other classes. So constructor, accessor, mutator. So let's just see what the watercraft class looks like. So yeah, so that's definitely what we're expecting. There's also the Java docs that are provided. So if you need any information regarding any of the classes, you can also use the Java docs. So you'll see there's all the classes here. So if I click on shipyard, for example, I can see all the details of the class. So it has a accessor, mutator, constructor, and it has an array list of watercraft. Okay, so that is perfect. So what we want to do now is we want to create our main class. So let's do that. Main. Okay, so that's our main class. Okay. Okay, so I'll just leave it like this for now, and I'll create the other classes. So we need to create a craft file handler. So create a package, CSC02A dot, let's just make sure that we stick to the correct naming convention. So it should be .ship.file. So let's do that. Ship.file. Here, and then add our class, craft file handler. Yeah, so we need to have a static method. So let's just go to the question paper. So we need to have a read watercraft method. So and it takes a file handle as a parameter. So I'll just say craft file, and then this should return an array list of watercraft. Yeah, so let's import array list, import watercraft, import our file class. Okay, so so obviously this error is just specifying that we must provide a return statement. So for now, I'll just say return now, and that should go away. Yeah, so what exactly are we supposed to do? So we must read each line of the file and determine if it's cruise ship or cargo ship using regular expressions, right? So the first thing that I'll do is I'll create a pattern. So I'll say cargo ship pattern, for the static compile class. And let's see what our pattern should look like. So I usually use Regex PAL for regular expressions, or Regex 101, right? So it really depends on you. You can use anyone you want, as long as it works for you. Okay, so let's look at our files. Yeah, so just I always prefer Notepad++, so let's rather use that. Okay, so so let's look at this one. So this is the smallest of the three. So we have the ID of the ship. We have the, so let's see what this is. We have the, oh yeah, so it can either be a ship name, ship style, or the patrons, which should be an integer. So these are two strings, or it can be ship name, ship style, cargo load, cargo type, right? So let's see. And let's just make sure. Okay, so string, float, enumeration. Okay, so in this case, we have 1, 2, 3. So that should be the first one, the cargo ship, or cruise ship. And then this should be the cargo ship, right? So that's pretty clear. Okay, and this is just an invalid line. So our function should be able to identify invalid lines, right? So let's start with the cruise ship. Pattern.compile. Yeah, so let's leave that like that for now. Go back to our regex regular expression tester, and so we need to be able to identify. So what I usually do is I will take that. So I just copy one of the valid lines, and then I just paste it here, and then I write my regular expression, right? So the first one should be an ID, right? So should be 6 characters, letters or numbers. So let's just look at this. So it's always 4 letters and 2 numbers. So okay, so it must be that 4 letters and 2 digits. Okay, so that should be that. And then tab, and then it should be this should always be 8 characters long. So let's just see, 8 characters long. This is also 8 characters long. So for both, it will be 8 characters long. So so in this case, it should be all caps, 8 characters, tab, and this should be an integer. So any number between 0 and 9. So let's just see. Okay, so it's always 3 digits for this one. And for this one, it's always 4 digits, right? So let's just make sure. So it's the same with this one. Okay, so it actually can be 2, 3. Okay, and then, yeah, so this one is always 4. This can be 2 digits or 3 digits, right? So so this should be between 2 and 3 times. Okay, so that should be my regular expression. Put it here, and Eclipse will automatically add the escape character, so that's perfect. Let's do the other one. So this one, yeah. Let's remove that. And we just need to modify this. So it's always 4 digits, and it's always a dot, and or we can rather use that, and 2 digits. So 0, 9, 2 digits. 2 times. Let's just make sure. Yeah, so it's always 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's my regular expression. Oh yeah, I need to provide that. So this can be either, so we need to look at the enumeration. So let's go to the jar file. Look at the different types. So it's bulk, container, or fluid. So it's one of the 3. So it's either bulk, container, or fluid. Actually should use the round parentheses. Yeah, so that's perfect. Put that there. And that is our regular expression. Okay, so now we need to create, so we need to start reading the file. So let's just create an array list, put craft list. Yeah, and then let's return that. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is create a scanner. And I need to get the craft file. And let's rather use automatic resource management. Import we need to catch a file not found exception. And let's do that. Yeah, and then we don't need a finally block because we are using automatic resource management. Okay, so now what we need to do is read the file. So while dot has next line, so we want to read the line. So string line is file reader dot next line. And then after reading the line, so we want to check if it's a cruise ship or a cargo ship pattern. So just do that. Yeah, so in order to do that, we need a matcher. Cruise ship pattern dot matcher. And we provide the line as a parameter. Okay, and then we need to create the other one. Dot matcher. Yeah, so we have our matcher objects. So what we need to do now is we need to check. So if cruise ship, yeah, I think that's better. So let's just remove that. Matches, then it's a cruise ship. So if it's a cruise ship, then we create a cruise ship instance, right? So cruise ship, or so yeah, let's just do that. So ship, new cruise ship, and we need to provide certain details. Okay, so I think what we should do is instead of adding too much code in one function, let's create utility functions for creating a cruise ship and for creating a cargo ship. So create cruise ship, and we need to provide the line. And let's add that method. Yeah, and else if cargo ship matches, then we need to create a cargo ship. Create cargo ship using the line. And let's import that. Create the method. And so obviously, then we need to add it to our array list. So crafts.add to ship. In this case, crafts.add cargo ship. Yeah, and then if it's neither, then we need to shout at the user. So to say invalid line, just do this so that it's visible. Oh no, actually I think the question said we need to print them in different colors, or the other one must use the output stream, the other one must use the error stream, right? So if I remember correctly, yeah, so instances of cruise ship must be on the standard output stream, and instances of cargo ship must be on the standard error stream, right? So yeah, okay, so but let's just do this first. So write a string line. Yeah, and just skip the line. Yeah, and then so now we need to implement these methods. So let's do that. So let's start with this one. So here we need to create 3 things. So let's just go back and look. So we need to create the ship name, which is a 6 characters long string. Okay, so string ship name is, yeah, so I need to create a string tokenizer. New string tokenizer. And I need to provide the line, and I need to provide the delimiter. So in this case, the delimiter is the tab character. Yeah, so that. Just double check. Yeah, so it's the string and the delimiter. Okay, so now I just get the next token, and that should be the name. And the next thing is the style, which is also a string. So let's make it a string. So trip style tokenizer dot next token, and then we need to create the number of patrons. Okay, so the number of patrons is an integer. Okay, so let's do this. I really should have brought my mouse. Okay, so this is the number of patrons, and that will be next token. But obviously, you want it to be an integer, so just wrap it around the integer dot parseInt static method. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so now we have everything we need, so we can create our object. So let's just create it here. New cruise ship, and we need to provide, so let's just check. We need to provide the name, style, number of patrons. So name, style, number of patrons. Okay. And we pretty much just do the same thing for the cargo ship, except that we have slightly more data. So that should be that, that should be that, and then we just need to change this. So in this case, we need to provide a float. So float, and it needs to be a cargo load, right? So let's do that. So cargo load. So I doubt this class actually has, oh yeah, okay. So tokenizer dot next token. Yeah, and then we need to get the final thing, which is the cargo type, which is an e-ship type. So let's do that. So e-ship type, cargo type is, we can use the method that is provided by Java for all enumeration classes. So let's just, I think I misspelled that. Yeah, e-ship type. So why is it not appearing? So let's just see. Oh, this is e-cargo type. So that was an error on the question paper. So if there's this kind of error in a paper, we will, for example, announce on Eve and Discord to say that there was a mistake in the paper. For example, in this case, the paper said e-ship type, but the jar file has e-cargo type, right? So we will announce these things during a test. Again, so e-cargo type. cargo type. And in this case, what we need to do is we need to call the value of function. So value of and get the next token. Yeah, and then that should be fine. But we need to create a cargo ship object. So cargo ship, and just change these, the last set of arguments. So it's the cargo load, and it's the cargo type. Yeah, so that's that. That should be fine. We have our class. Everything looks correct. So let's call the function in main. Okay, so what we need to do in main is we need to basically to read each text of the provided files. Just iterate through the array list and display as specified here. So I need to create 3 files. So let's say small file. That would be the data directory. The name of the file is confirm. Let's just refresh this. Fresh data, ships 10, ships 15, ships 20. So ships 10.txt. Something is missing. Yeah, so that should be fine. Okay, let's just copy that, paste. So this should be 15. That should be 20. So this medium file, and this is the large file. Yeah, so that's that. And we need to read these files. So I'll just read one file at a time. So during the test, you can just comment out the other files and just read the one file. And the person who's marking you will uncomment the lines for the other files, and they'll just see if your system can read all 3 files, right? So now we need to call the array list, what's a craft file handler dot read with the craft small file. Yeah, so craft, yeah. Then, so what we need to do now is we need to just iterate through the list. So for each footer craft in crafts, we just need to check. So if, for example, craft is an instance of a the first one is the cruise ship, then we need to output the cruise ship should be the standard output stream, right? Standard output stream. So import, and yeah, so standard output stream, and you can output it in any manner. Okay, because of time, let's just craft dot name craft dot get style. Craft. Oh yeah, so actually, so we need to do this so that we can get all the information we need, convert it to a cruise ship. Cruise ship craft. And then after converting it, then we can get the last thing, which is the we can get the number of patrons. Okay, so then we can just say here, cruise ship. Yeah, so that should be fine. Yeah, and then so basically we do the same for the cargo ship. So let me just do this quickly. So convert it to a cargo ship. Cargo ship, craft, import. So in this case, we want to display that cargo ship and cargo ship dot name, cargo ship dot style, cargo ship dot maximum load. So the last one is the enumeration. So we need to convert it to a string. Cargo ship dot get cargo type dot to string. What happened there? String. Yeah, so that should be fine. And so that should work, but unfortunately, that is not how things work in programming. So there's probably a mistake somewhere along the line. Oh yeah, so it actually works. So that's great. So let's check. So there's an invalid line here, and you have your cargo ship, cruise ship, cargo ship, so forth. So that's perfectly fine. Yeah, so we finished just in time. So I'll just do the last one, the GUI, and I'll upload all 3 questions to Eve. Hopefully I can do it by the end of today. If I can't, it'll have to be tomorrow morning. Okay, so, but yeah, enjoy your Easter weekend, and don't forget to study. So yeah, thank you very much. Yes. Yes.